Anyway, we'll keep you updated on that story. And we'll move on to our next story now. This is about Panama Canal. You might have seen some reporting on this recently, talking about climate change. We wanted to tell you one of the other things that's not widely being reported about the reason why the water levels are dropping. There's a crisis in the Panama Canal as water levels have dropped to critical levels and the lowest in decades. But that doesn't mean there aren't opportunities to make money, as shippers are paying up to $4 million to jump the queue. Usually as many as 36 to 40 vessels can transit the 50-mile or 80-kilometer waterway per day, but water levels in the interior lakes are so low that that number has dropped to 24, with even lower numbers predicted as the water levels drop. Now, unlike the Suez Canal, that's all on sea level, the Panama Canal raises vessels up about 85 feet above sea level through a series of locks. They sail through Gatun Lake, which is an artificial freshwater lake that also contributes to a percentage of clean drinking water in Panama. The Panama Canal in 2023 has seen the lowest rainfall in almost 100 years. Ilia Espina de Marata, the canal's chief sustainability officer, said to the BBC that 2023 has been the second driest year in the history of the Panama Canal. She went on to say that the drought was made even worse by the El Niño weather phenomenon and is expected to last until May, which is when traditionally the rainy season starts. Now, the water level in Gatun Lake is 5 feet lower than it usually is at this time of year. Now, the experts are blaming the situation on, amongst other things, climate change. There is sort of a design flaw with the locks. That means most of the water used on each vessel to transit the canal is lost on each side of the canal. Well, how is the water lost, I hear you say? Well, it takes almost 200 million litres of water to pass a ship through the locks, and most of that water is lost into the ocean once the gates open. The newest locks are able to recapture about 60% of that water and feed it back into the canal. However, the old locks, which are still predominantly used, only recapture about 20%. Now, the design most likely accounts for the fact that the lake is a freshwater lake which supplies Panama with drinking water, and now obviously once it mixes with the ocean water, it gets salt in it, and they would have to refilter that water. So a filtration system would need to be used to prevent contamination of the fresh water. So they have relied on the rainy season to refill the lake every year. That's been pretty good for 100 years, right? Now, what are the alternatives for ships instead of transiting the Panama Canal? Well, there's only really sailing around the Horn of South America, which would add weeks and about 20,000 kilometers to any vessel's trip. A lot of cost obviously involved in that. Now, the rainy season can't come fast enough, usually May to December. Last year in 2023, the rains didn't come, and that's why we're in this situation right now. So let's hope when it rains, it pours this year in Panama. Thanks very much for watching this video. You've been watching a Super Yacht News clip. If you'd like to see the full unedited Super Yacht News video, you can click on the link over here. You can also find our channel links below here. And if you'd like to see more shorter videos like this one, be sure to subscribe to this channel.